The Miami Dolphins are currently negative $52 million in cap space. A lot of people freaking out. I'm Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and I'm here to break down how they can go from negative $52 million to positive $50 million and able to make moves this free agency. Before I hop into today's video, first order of business, like and subscribe to help the channel grow. But without further ado, we're gonna hop right into the first section of this video, and that's going to be the cuts the Dolphins should or might make. Starting off with a big name, former All-Pro Xavier Howard. Now, if the Dolphins cut him with a post June 1st designation, they'll save $18 million against the cap. Now, once again, there's different ways you can go about this that I don't necessarily have access to. There's potential restructuring of a contract to keep Xavier Howard a Dolphin and lower his cap hit, or they might just outright cut him or trade him. But cutting him saves $18 million. Cutting Emmanuel Ogbah saves $14 million. Cutting Jerome Baker saves $10 million. That's another guy that is good enough to stay on this roster. Maybe they give him an extension or give him a new deal to lower his cap number while also being able to keep him a Miami Dolphin. Or maybe they look elsewhere, whether it's the draft or free agency. Cutting Jeff Wilson saves $3 million. Cutting Keon Crossan also saves $3 million. And the last guy that's really up in the air is Tron Armstead. Now, Tron Armstead has dealt with a ton of injuries as a Miami Dolphin, and he's kind of been battling through that his entire Dolphins tenure, and it's impacted his performance specifically this season. So he could retire, or the Dolphins could cut him. If either of those instances happen, which I think it's likely, we either cut him or he retires, it'll be counted basically as once again, a post-June 1st cut, and the Dolphins will save close to $9 million. Those are all the cuts that I see happening. After cuts alone, the Dolphins will be positive $5 million in cap. If they keep Armstead and that stays the course, they'll only be at negative $4 million. Now, the next part of the whole cap situation would be restructures and extensions, and this is where a lot of money can be saved. Now, for those that don't know what a restructuring of a contract is, it's basically the player gets money up front, so the owner has to cut him a check, and it counts as a signing bonus, and then it gets spread out through the remainder of his contract. So say, for example, Tyreek Hill's cap hits $30 million. If the Dolphins give him a $25 million signing bonus, say he has 2 years left on this deal, so then he'll get $12.5 million spread out the next 2 years, but he gets the money all up front. So the player wants to do it. It saves money against the cap. There's risk in that if the player regresses extremely or he doesn't play for you, his cap number is going to be extreme when he's owed guaranteed money. So that's the only issues. You could be left with ballooned cap spaces or dead cap if the player doesn't pan out. So I think restructures should really be left for players that you know are going to be good or you know are going to be on your team for a long time. I'll probably explain this in a future video of the current status of the Miami Dolphins, but they have a short window, and that's why you want to restructure and do all these deals that for the long term don't benefit you. But regardless, this team's going to have to go through some kind of reset in the future, but that's for a different video. So I don't think every single guy I mentioned is going to get restructured. I think it might be 2 of the 3, but I'm just going to mention how much it's saved for the total potential. So if the Dolphins were to restructure Bradley Chubb, they can save up to $15 million. Once again, it's kind of how much the team wants to do. They don't have to restructure the entire contract. They can only do a little bit, but they can save up to $15 million with Bradley Chubb. They restructure Tyreek Hill, they can save about $12 million. And then the big one is if they restructure Jalen Ramsey, they can save about $29 million. So that's a lot of money with Ramsey. I expect that one to absolutely happen. And the big reason they can save that much money is really just how many years left they have on the deal. And that's why Ramsey, you can save so much because that money can get spread out through more of his contract. And then the last really big move that I can see that will limit the Dolphins' cap hit, and this is controversial among the fan base, but extending Tua will save money. And I know that's confusing to some people, but currently Tua is under his 5th-year option, which is a fully guaranteed contract, meaning they cannot move that money at all. It is stuck in this season. However, they give him an extension, they can then push that money down the future. By money, I mean cap hit, have a much lower cap hit. So extending Tua would probably save close to $5 to $10 million, which is a player or two, which could be all the difference in this league. So the Dolphins can, with all of those moves, now not all of them are going to happen. Maybe they're dealt differently. Like I said, maybe instead of cutting Jerome Baker, you restructure some kind of contract and give him some money up front and keep him but lower his cap hit, something like that. There's no way of knowing until all of these moves take place, which is probably going to be in about a month, but I'm here to just inform you guys on the potential moves that they can make so they can go from negative 52 to positive 50. Like I said, the Dolphins window, in my opinion, is really these next 2 years to go all in on Super Bowl, similar to how the Rams did it. The way to do it is you have your window, you go all in, and regardless if it does or doesn't work, you have to reset, because otherwise you're going to end up like the Saints, who year in, year out are just desperate for money, stuck with bad contracts, and really aren't in a good situation until they really deal with that cap, like the Rams did. And look what the Rams did the year they're resetting. They made the playoffs with a lot of young talent. So that's in the future for the Dolphins. But while you have this window, why not go all in? Comment your thoughts down below. What do you think the Dolphins should do? What moves that I mentioned do you want to see them make? What do you want to not see happen? But I hope this was informative. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And until next time, like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And I'll catch y'all. Fins up.